This private footage was taken in the late fall of 1941 near Vyazma during the advance on Moscow, and fits in well with today's production. I'll show some more from this collection at the end of the video. This is part 31 in the series that covers this sensational war diary, written by a platoon leader named Kurt from the motorized SS Division Reich, which in 1942 would become a Panzergrenadier Division, and then in 1943 would become the 2nd SS Panzer Division Das Reich. The last time we were with Kurt, one of Das Reich's few remaining Stugs engaged a Soviet armored train. The division then broke through enemy units to resupply lead elements of the 10th Panzer Division, and so enabled them to continue their advance on Moscow. In this episode, using associated film footage and information from an original periodical, we'll continue with Kurt's story as the motorized SS Division Reich assaults the well-fortified Moskva river basin situated in front of Moscow. So stick around, it's worth it. I promise. This is the original situational map for October 13th of 1941. Here we see that the SS Reich Division is advancing in parallel with elements of the 10th Panzer Division. Soviet forces are retreating to established defensive lines in front of their capital. And here's the city of Vyazma from the private footage. Der 13. Oktober. Weiter geht der Vormarsch auf der Autobahn, und we continue advancing along the highway and arrive to the area Yelnynia, a long valley basin that cuts through the region perpendicularly. Here the enemy has built out tremendous defensive positions. In addition to the usual wide anti-tank trenches are cement tank obstructions, barbed wire obstacles, minefields, and a strong zigzag of built-out infantry trenches and concrete bunkers which protect them from any possible surprise attack. Having no other option, we'll have to go straight through the enemy's defensive positions. This is an original 1941 collection of Die Wehrmacht, complete with all 26 periodicals. We are looking at number 25 from December 3rd, which is titled Unterwegs nach vorn. If it's still for sale, there's a link to it pinned in the comments section below. In this photo, we get a nice bird's eye view of the Moskva river basin, the heavily defended area that Kurt was describing. And this text describes the defensive bulwark in detail. The defensive zone in front of the Soviet capital, meant to hold back the advancing Germans, has a depth of 14 kilometers. There are 7 different layers, some quite thin, and others that extend for kilometers, are meant to make the defensive network impenetrable. The first layer of defense is made up of automatic flamethrowers that have been dug into the ground with only their nozzles sticking out. With approaching German soldiers, these would be activated to function automatically from a hidden bunker. The second layer is made up of multiple lines of trenches that have been dug in a zigzag pattern. These trenches are heavily mined and meant to stop tanks from passing. Right behind these is the third layer, which is made up of extensive barbed fixtures in a swampy area around the Moskva river basin, which extends for kilometers. In the fourth layer are additional extra deep and wide trenches meant to hinder tanks. In the fifth layer are endless rows of so-called Spanish riders, which are lengths of rail track which have been welded together in the shape of pyramids. On the sixth layer are densely placed bunkers of every shape and size. Finally, in the seventh layer come the normal infantry and artillery positions. This 14-kilometer defensive zone stretches from Kaluga to Kalinin and has a width of about 300 kilometers. At the strongest point, specifically blocking the Smolensk-Moscow highway, after days of fighting, the Germans were finally able to break through. The area was systematically demined, and one defensive layer after the next was overcome. The Soviets believed that their defensive positions were impenetrable, but the German soldiers managed to make their way through. If you like this kind of content which integrates different primary historical sources, open a free account on our website military1945.com and stay informed. And now, here's more of that footage from the private collection. Patreon supporters preview all videos uploaded to YouTube and get regular access to footage that can't be shown here. For example, the full 6 minutes of this collection. Use the QR code to check out the different levels of support and join our community. Thanks for watching.